Hi, all. Kinsey Schofield here. This is not going to be the typical video that you normally see on this channel. No jazzy intro or happy music. I just wanted to have a conversation with you, just you and I. We are still trying to process the death of Liam Payne. Um, and this has been a strange news cycle over the last few hours. My initial thought, some of you might have seen it, my initial reaction was just real fear over some of the theories that were floating around the internet and not wanting to latch on to anything. Also, the toxic gossip around his relationships. I was a huge One Direction fan. Yes, I was the 20 something year old at the One Direction concert by myself in Phoenix, Arizona. But because I was older than the guys, I never cared about their relationships because I never looked at them that way. I've always loved Harry Styles. I had a little pup named Styles, and plenty of Harry Styles t-shirts. He's just cool. But I never cared about the boys' love lives because that just, who cares? But I was especially over Liam's relationship status because it felt like a revolving door of young influencer girls that were chasing drama that I just didn't have time for. So I stopped clicking on the headlines. I didn't care what was going on in Liam's love life. But I do think the more that I learn that it is important to this story, unfortunately. And I know some people are probably watched my initial reaction and thought, wow, she's sympathizing with somebody that's accused of all this horrible stuff. First of all, I think we need to be kind and thoughtful when someone falls out of a window. Like, let's pump the brakes and say, "Oh my God, this is awful. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for his baby boy." I mean, I know he's 7, but I'm from the South. We call our children babies. But I was so shocked at his death. I'm still so shocked at his death. And I think especially because I came from like a breaking news background where sometimes I remember one of the biggest stories was at one of my Phoenix stations. There was a guy that was shooting people randomly on the freeway. And I remember one night there was breaking news, and we had 4 to 6 camera guys out in the field, and they were trailing the suspect because the cops were about to like catch him. The cops were about to arrest him. Everybody had this information for some reason. So we had camera people on the suspect. We had camera people on the suspect's girlfriend's house. We had camera people at the suspect's parents' house. And so that night, I watched as the media descended on all of these people and wreaked absolute havoc on everyone's life, to learn later that this guy was completely innocent. He was not the shooter. I think he actually sued the state of Arizona, and I think there was a settlement or something. But you watch things like that unfold, and then you are so frightened when breaking news hits because you're like, I do not want to be the person that says something that is completely untrue and could hurt this person's legacy or could taint, could taint your credibility. But the more that I've learned about Liam and his relationships, the more I do believe that they're important to the story. I mean, if you unless you've been hiding under a rock, surely you're familiar with what's happened over the last 24 hours. A brutal, brutal day for Liam and One Direction fans. According to TMZ, and I know they are not in the innocent here, I will get to that in a minute. 31-year-old Liam Payne and his girlfriend Kate Cassidy arrived in Argentina on September 30th. They posted online together during their joint vacation. They seemed very happy, uplifting, like they were having a blast. According to the outlet, Kate left Argentina on the 14th with Liam staying behind. He checks into a new hotel. On Wednesday, on the afternoon of Liam's death, was it Wednesday or is it, I don't know what day it was in Argentina. I don't know if they're in front of us or behind us, but anyway, it was Wednesday for me. There was a 911 call, and it was made to report an aggressive male at the hotel. Witnesses claim that Liam had been acting erratically in the hotel lobby earlier that day. He smashed a laptop. He had to, quote, be carried back to his room, which initially, like, my first reaction to him being carried back to his room is, by who? Was that a liability? Somebody's going to ask these questions. If this person is being destructive of his own property or hotel property, who is carrying him back to his room and leaving him alone? If he is being destructive of hotel property and authorities are being called, why don't you stay with him, quote unquote, detain him, whatever? Who left him alone in this room? I mean, that is something that somebody has to ask. Shortly after 5 p.m., several witnesses at the hotel say that Liam fell from his room on the third floor. I want to stress that we don't know if it was intentional or accidental. I don't know if it was intentional or accidental. There are people that are saying otherwise. Now, the police said in a statement that Liam's fall resulted in extremely serious injuries, with medics confirming his death on the spot, explaining he fell 13 or 14 meters and suffered severe injuries that provoked his immediate death. One official told local press, "We arrived in time to try to revive him, but there was nothing we could do." A spokesperson for the security ministry told media that Mr. Payne had thrown himself from the balcony of his room. That's the only person I've seen state this. I've seen it repeated a million times, but we haven't heard it from anyone else. So it's just one of those iffy subjects where one person says that this is the case. Maybe it is the case. This is breaking news. It's continuing to evolve. And it's horrible that that information is out there if it's not true. Now, the same spokesperson alleged cops were dispatched to the hotel in response to an emergency call about an aggressive man who could be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. This gives credibility to TMZ's initial report, just the idea of aggressive man in the hotel lobby. Responding officers heard, oh, God, I hate this line. I'm so sorry. Responding officers heard a thud and found Liam in the hotel courtyard. Liam had been in Argentina for a Niall Horan concert, among other things. And the One Direction bandmates had a brief reunion that lit up the internet. Everybody was so excited to see them together. You think back on some of the things he's said in the past. Liam candidly revealed back in June of 2021 that he hit rock bottom during his time in One Direction, which was formed in 2010, broke up in 2015. They took over the world. It was just so, they were so fun. They were so sweet. The music was so cute, and it was such an innocent time. But he did say he hit rock bottom. I mean, it's crazy to think about how young and sweet they were singing the lyrics that they were singing that were absolutely precious. And he says that he hit rock bottom due to alcohol and prescription drug addiction, admitting that at one point when One Direction was on tour, things got so bad he had severe thoughts of taking his own life, saying, "I was worried how far my rock bottom was going to be. Where's rock bottom for me? And you would never have seen it. I'm very good at hiding it. No one would ever have seen it," he explained on the Diary of a CEO podcast. The host, Stephen Bartlett, kind of pushed him to expand on that, expand on his dark days. And innocently. I'm not suggesting anything. He was just interviewing him, having this conversation. And Liam admitted, yeah, there is some stuff that I have definitely never spoken about. He continued, it was really severe. It was a problem. And it was only until I saw myself after that, I was like, right, I need to fix myself. He went on to share how much his substance abuse had affected his mental health. He was very active on social media leading up to his death. Just hours before, he said he was having a lovely day in a Snapchat video. Was this another example of Liam hiding it, whatever the it was that he was talking to Stephen Bartlett about? I think my biggest my heart hurts the most when I think about the fact that he's survived by his 7-year-old son Bear. And I just want to say, I have seen some of the mean things written and some of the jokes about this incident. Please keep in mind that this guy has a baby boy that he loved very much. And at some point, Bear will have access to a computer and a keyboard and a search engine. And he could stumble upon some of the ugly things written about his father that was stolen from him prematurely. I don't care what the circumstances are. Bear does not deserve this. He is an innocent in all of this. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are surrounding his death. Bear does not deserve to lose his daddy. His ex-girlfriend, Cheryl Cole, Bear's mother, as you know, as far as when this recording has taking place, Cheryl Cole has not reacted to the news yet. We also have yet to hear from his current girlfriend, Kate Cassidy. I cannot imagine being either one of them right now. And I am so sorry. I'm so sorry to his family, to everybody that loved him. Um, like I said, I loved One Direction, and Liam was a very talented singer and especially songwriter. I mean, he was a great songwriter, but his love life was too manic for me to keep up with. It felt like he was constantly dating attention seeking Instagram models. And there was drama, and he would redeem himself. And then there was more drama. And then there would be a new Instagram influencer girlfriend, and the process would start all over. What I knew about Liam's love life was that it was a revolving door, and there was no reason to become invested in anyone. I was honestly so checked out that I had no clue who Maya Henry was or the levels of dysfunction that had been reported over the last few weeks. And now knowing it, I ask myself, why was he left alone? Reports suggest that Liam was really struggling with significant stress related to his ex fiance in the days leading up to his death. So, you really wish that he still had his girlfriend there to support him. The information was readily available online when it comes to Maya Henry, but I just didn't click on it. More drama with Liam and whoever he was dating at the moment or whoever he was dating in the past. It just it felt like constant drama with his love life, and it was just something that I wasn't invested in. A source told People that Liam was extremely overwhelmed by the legal issues involving his ex. The former couple, reportedly were engaged. They split in 2022, but for some reason there was still some ongoing tension. And just a week prior to his death, she issued a cease and desist order accusing him of repeatedly contacting her. And that's I guess I'm citing the Daily Mail there. It's important that I stress that that's coming from the Daily Mail. This fits TMZ's report that Maya alleged Liam left her after asking her to get an abortion. Her attorneys had been trying to send him a cease and desist letter to stop contacting her. Again, this is coming from TMZ. But and of course, everybody's saying this because they want us to question whether or not this is related to what was happening. I don't know. What was on the laptop? Why did he destroy the laptop? I don't know. All of this is going to inevitably come out. We have to be patient. But I do want to talk about TMZ's initial behavior when the news broke. They obtained and initially posted cropped photos of Liam's deceased body, exposing some of his tattoos as, I guess, as proof of his death. I don't why what was relevant about that. I'm at a complete loss, and that this was a heated debate. You hope that this was a heated debate in the newsroom as to whether to publish these photos or not. The fact that they were ultimately published is unbelievably revolting. Thankfully, by the time I logged on, TMZ had already removed them due to tons of negative feedback. The Hollywood Reporter reported, though TMZ is known to push journalistic ethical boundaries in obtaining its traffic friendly scoops, the publishing of celebrity death photos is a line that even it does not typically cross. Its last significant celebrity death controversy came with its reporting of the 2020 helicopter crash that took the life of Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter, in addition to 7 others. TMZ was first to report on the tragedy, breaking the story less than 2 hours after the crash. Law enforcement criticized TMZ for reporting on the accident before the coroner's office could confirm the identities of the victims and inform the families. Now, Levin later claimed that TMZ had gotten approval from Kobe's people to run the story. Now, just reading that reminded me of a docu-series I recently watched. I think it was on Hulu, but I watched Harvey Levin's TMZ co-creator Gillian Sheldon on a docu-series called The Dark Side of the 90s. Again, I remember the interview. I remember what she said. I just don't necessarily remember what the docu-series was, but I'm pretty sure it's The Dark Side of the 90s. Anyway, I recently watched this docu-series where she spoke about the creation of TMZ and how exciting it was. But she also spoke about exiting TMZ because she did not like their definition of ethical. It no longer aligned with her personal values. And she left. And you read that TMZ showed photos of Liam's body, and you're like, yeah, that was the right decision, Gillian Sheldon. Good on you. Because I wouldn't want to be associated with this. It just seems like a horrific decision. And again, I think I would just say I obviously didn't know the man personally. I know I was incredibly sympathetic upon the breaking news of his death. And I hope anyone that watched me respond to it live did not assume that I was trying to erase the accusations of his abusive behavior, or that I'm a sympathizer of someone who is allegedly, been incredibly cruel and destructive towards ex-girlfriends. If these accusations are true, I am so sorry to the women that he dated that felt that way. I truly was not aware of most of the allegations, but I also think we need to be gentle when we learn about something as horrific as a premature death, especially when there are children involved. And we also need to take time to allow the facts to come out. And some of the facts have come out, in my opinion, has evolved when it comes to Liam. I think he was likely very troubled and dealing with some of the demons he'd admitted to fighting before. While I believe he was incredibly talented, I also believe that he probably didn't treat the women in his life as well as he should have. And look, I did the same thing when Matthew Perry died. I wanted to believe that Matthew Perry was completely clean and had started anew. And unfortunately, I was proven wrong, but I'd rather be safe than sorry and assume the best about someone than assume the worst. So thanks for talking through this with me. Obviously, this is like raw. I'm stumbling over myself and I'm trying to find the right words, and I'm navigating a really difficult conversation. And I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Liam Payne, born August 29th, 1993, died at the age of 31. A horrible loss, a devastating loss to his friends and family. And my thoughts are with them. I'm so sorry.